It's the George Plaster Show. 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown. And it's a shame it's taken this long to get an introduction for this Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer, Kelly Holcomb, along with young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in from our digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. It's a rainy Friday, and from all indications, it's going to be a rainy Saturday as well. As a lot of you know, beginning on Monday, we will move the show to a 4 to 6 p.m. time slot, and we are doing that for a real purpose. So we can simulcast on 95.9 FM here in Nashville, also up in Rutherford County in the Murfreesboro area on 107.9. And the purpose of all this, for me, is pretty simple. Yeah, I've enjoyed the podcast stuff. It's fine. I don't necessarily 100% buy that this is the wave of the future. Maybe it is. But I wanted to be able to talk to people. I have missed badly talking to you all, and I'm looking forward, starting on Monday, to the interaction of phone calls, because phone calls do a lot of things. Number one, there are times where phone callers are smarter than the hosts, and they give you food for thought, different ideas of things, different sports topics that are going on. I have really missed that. I'll tell you right up front, we're going to take the entire 5 o'clock hour on Monday and open it up to phone calls. It's been 2 years. I haven't gotten to talk to any of you. I'm lonely.
You gotta knock the rust off.
Absolutely. So before we do anything else, let me say this. In a few minutes, we're going to show you the Jeff Darlington video. Most of you who keep up at all know that there was a huge incident early this morning where Scottie Scheffler, who is right now, I think most people would say, the number one golfer in the world, got arrested by Louisville police as he was trying to get into Valhalla Country Club. The backside of this story is that earlier in the morning, there had been a real tragedy where a worker around the PGA tournament was struck and killed by a shuttle van. And so that brought the police out. This incident occurred with that. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, no opinions, George? Yeah, I've got opinions, but I also don't have nearly enough facts. I've got a little bit of what I've seen out of the Darlington video. I don't know the whole story. Yeah, I do have strong opinions, but until I know all the facts, this is one time I'm going to refrain.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say, and there's nothing really anybody should say. There's not. It happened, and it's unfortunate. Scottie's been handling it well, as we'll probably get to the leaderboard later today, but just a messy situation.
Oh, it's a nightmare for Louisville. It's a nightmare for the PGA tournament. It's a nightmare for Valhalla Country Club. I mean,
everybody.
When they sat around several months ago, plotting out all the plans. What could go wrong? Could we run out of water? Could we run out of pimento cheese sandwiches?
This was not on that list.
This was not on that list.
No.
And it's
I thought Van Pelt, who's one of the best.
Yeah.
I checked it out probably close to lunchtime, when their coverage started, and he laid it out there perfectly. I mean, you're obviously confused a little bit, and probably, how do you even talk in a situation like that? Because it starts with the death of someone.
Yes.
and then
which
the
is
arrest.
a true tragedy.
Right, and then the arrest of the greatest player on earth right now, who is a saint. I mean, like who would have thought Scottie Scheffler would have been that guy for that to happen to? So it's just a weird morning there.
I will say this, for those of you who are really interested in the story, Pat Forty from Sports Illustrated put out something earlier today. Pat's from Louisville. Pat used to cover University of Kentucky basketball, and when I was doing Vanderbilt games on radio, we first met up. And so he put together a pretty thoughtful piece about some of what because there are definitely some challenges around that country club, that golf course, because there's not a lot of room for pedestrian traffic. As he sort of said, it was an accident waiting to happen, and tragically, it did happen.
Yeah, they were talking about the different traffic. They had to change the traffic routes, of course, and it was a dark, rainy, probably chillier morning. When it's that early in the morning, of course, the golfer's got to get on the course somehow. But Scottie said he didn't know, he thought he was doing the right thing in the statement he put out today, which obviously I believe him. I don't think it's the felonies for me with him that kind of shocked me a little bit. Well, and obviously that'll be figured out. But again,
I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
Because, I've got some strong opinions about it, but I also don't have all the facts.
Yeah.
And so to sit here and assign blame, judgment, whatever, for me, right now, I'm just not comfortable doing. I know we are going to show you the video when you give me the thumbs up. Okay. Here, let me set the scene on this. As this thing is emerging between Scheffler and the police officer, Jeff Darlington from ESPN sees this and films it. Here it is.
Guys.
Dude, step back. Back up.
I'm back. I'm back.
You're game one, right?
Yeah, that's a 15. Okay.
Guys.
What do we tell you?
I'm staying back.
Here's the thing. Right now, he's going to jail.
Okay.
He's going to jail. And it ain't.
We got a little pause there, but that's pretty much the gist of that.
Yeah, he's going to jail, and I think and Jeff, the officer said, and there ain't anything you can do about it.
Right.
Thank you.
There it is.
That sort of confirmed that. Okay, so then he's taken to jail. They do the mug shot, and then he's released under what they call his own recognizance.
Yeah.
And is actually transported back to Valhalla in a police car, ironically.
Okay, that I did not know. I was wondering that. So he got back pretty quick, I would guess, and obviously the cameras.
Will you show it one more time? And let me say up front, what you're going to hear again, the voice you hear is Jeff Darlington, I think, trying to tell police, do you realize quite what you're doing here? And he never really gets that shot. Here we go.
No, it's not ready yet.
Oh, okay. I got you. So we're in a four-corner stall. Time only has been called. Every effort will be made to play today's game.
Okay.
We close?
Yep.
Here we go.
Guys.
Dude, step back. Back up.
I'm back. I'm back.
You're game one, right?
Yeah, that's a 15. Okay.
Guys.
What do we tell you?
I'm staying back.
Here's the thing. Right now, he's going to jail.
Okay.
Okay? He's going to jail, and it ain't nothing you can do about it. Period. There's nothing you can do about it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, do you have
First,
a question?
I'm media. I'm a
Okay,
reporter. Okay.
okay.
So that's all.
That's fine.
I just want to make sure that's
Okay,
known.
but you need to step
No
back
problem.
over here now.
No problem. You got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Early in that film, you can hear Scheffler faintly saying to Darlington, "Can you help me?" And when he did that, obviously there's really not much Darlington can do. The police made it very clear. I think what Darlington was trying to tell the police is, guys, there's been a major screw up here. This is the guy that may win this tournament. However, that said, there are also legal issues that carry more importance than any golf tournament. Again, I'll say this, like a lot of you, I've got strong opinions about this, but I don't have all the facts. And until I do, I'm not really going to share an opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard, too, at this point.
Let me ask you this. Has Scheffler completed his round?
Scheffler is 9 under through 17, so I guess he's got one hole left.
9 under for the tournament.
Okay, so 9 under today, 5 under.
Okay,
so,
which is pretty amazing given,
I was watching,
what is going on today. Here's what I'm guessing. Okay, there will be an absolute media avalanche on him when this round is over. My guess is that he will tell the reporters, look, this is a pending legal matter. I have been advised by legal counsel not to speak about it. When I'm free and clear, you'll probably hear from me. That's what I'm guessing will come out. But my God, the amount of media that will descend on that press conference, woo.
Yeah, I mean, you wonder how the rest of the weekend shakes out and how it might impact him. It didn't impact him today.
Supposedly, he's got an arraignment set for Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock Louisville time. Can you imagine a scenario where he wins the tournament and then a day and a half later is in court? I mean, it could happen.
This is nothing like this has ever happened before at a major.
Sure. Not that I can.
I mean,
not that I can remember.
Didn't think we'd be waking up to this on a Friday morning, but we do.
And a friend of mine, and I know you said the same thing. A friend of mine, wow, sorry about that. A friend of mine sent me a text at like 6:40 this morning. I thought it was a joke.
Yeah. I just saw it on my phone and I saw a bunch of stuff on Twitter and I was like, what joke? I mean, is it April Fool's? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
So there's your update.
Yeah, there's your update. Yeah,
Lori Burnett Leland. You can visit her online at mortgageladyyusa.com. And then real quick, the leaderboard right now. Colin Morikawa is in the lead alone there at Valhalla up there in Louisville at 11 under. Thomas Detry is playing pretty well. Also, Scottie Scheffler and Xander Schauffele are all 9 under. Tiger, of course, continuing the struggles, and that's pretty much it.
Where is Tiger?
Not anywhere near the top. Let me see here to be exact. Tiger is tied for 82nd at one over right now. So
which is going to be very close to the cut line.
Yeah, very close. What did Lou said he thought the cut would be what?
I thought
today?
He said either 1 under or 1 over.
Okay.
And I don't remember.
For today, Tiger's even, so not an awful day, but nothing. It's just he just can't get over that hump. So that's what we got. Also, real quick, SEC baseball, Vanderbilt lost to Kentucky last night, 10-5 again. They need to win. I don't know that they need to win this series, but they need to get one, whether it's tonight or tomorrow. And then, we're going to keep talking baseball with Billy Jones. And then Tennessee beat South Carolina. Christian Moore, 2 more home runs.
Gosh, what a year he's had. But I look around, and the kid at Florida who's had a monster year isn't even the leader in the conference in homers. Kid from Georgia is.
Yeah, and Georgia beat Florida last night, 9-4. So
Georgia's one that nobody wants to play right now.
No, sir. I mean, they're hot with the bats, and they can pitch a little too. So
I guess the shirt's in honor of Georgia.
that is maybe a little
That's sort of their colors.
Yeah, a little
red, a little black.
There you go.
I guess.
Yeah, LSU had a big win over Ole Miss last night, 5-1. A&M beat Arkansas 1-0 in 11 innings, which I didn't see, but obviously was a big finish there. And that's a Hagen Smith start, best pitcher, one of the best pitchers in the country. So that's tough to do. So
yeah,
that's what we got so far. We'll obviously be talking more baseball with Billy coming up.
Yeah, Billy Jones next week is going to anchor our coverage from the SEC baseball tournament down in Hoover, Alabama. Hoover is a suburb of Birmingham. Some of you have been there before. It is a big old ballpark. And oftentimes what ends up happening is these teams that have relied so much on homers suddenly don't do as well and have to resort to a little more small ball because it's a massive park. What I remember was something like 420 in dead center. So you hit one out, you've earned it.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
What'd you call it? The Mammoth Cave?
Mammoth Cave of ballparks.
Yeah.
Anyway, Billy will anchor our coverage from down there. We will have reports Tuesday through Friday when we're on the air. And again, we'll have a new start time from 4 to 6 p.m. You'll be able to see it in podcast form as you are right now, but you'll also be able, by way of whatever you want to call it, simulcast, to hear it on 95.9 FM in Nashville and 107.9, in Murfreesboro and up in the Rutherford County area. We'll go to the break. We'll talk some SEC baseball when we come back.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
As some of you may already know, we're making some changes in our programming. Simply put, beginning Monday, May the 21st, and yes, that date did have to change, we will go into a 4 to 6 p.m. time slot to do this podcast, but we will also simulcast it on radio on 95.9 FM. And for those of you who watch in the Rutherford, Williamson County area, on 107.9 as well. The purpose of this is very simple. I want to be able to take phone calls. While I've enjoyed the podcast format, I have greatly missed the fact that I'm not able to talk to you all. And I don't feel like I have quite the pulse that I used to for that reason. If you go back through my 30 years as a broadcaster, I always enjoyed taking phone calls. I'm looking forward to getting back to that. So mark the date, Monday, May the 21st, 4 to 6 p.m., and thanks for all the support. Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
Nashville, get ready for the greatest show on turf. Electrifying, high-octane, non-stop spring football action. Starting at only $30. Don't miss the season opener this April 27th at Municipal Auditorium.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fisher. The Nashville Cats are bringing arena football back to Nashville.
Grab your tickets now at thenashvillecats.com and be part of the action.
We are back. You know, as I think back, let's say 20 years ago, nobody paid the first bit of attention to the SEC baseball tournament. And truthfully, very few people paid any attention to the NCAA baseball tournament that follows. Boy, have things changed. And a lot of that is due to ESPN and the increased TV coverage in the last decade and a half. So with that in mind, the SEC baseball tournament begins Tuesday down in Hoover, Alabama, which is a suburb of Birmingham. Our coverage will be anchored by Billy Jones. Billy is a Nashville native who is a University of Missouri student, obviously going to get knee-deep into broadcasting. He didn't listen when I told him, get out before you get in. And he will be part of our show throughout the summer before he goes back to Columbia, Missouri. And Billy is on the line with us. Billy, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. How are you, George? Getting excited for next week.
Yeah, it's a cool tournament. It's a little bit more relaxed, I would say, than the SEC basketball tournament. But it draws a lot of folks, and it has gotten more and more attention in recent years. So, Billy, let's talk about it. What do you expect to come out of there next week?
I mean, I think it should be a really fun tournament because I think when you look up and down the conference, it's incredible from top to bottom. I think back to something that Tony Basilio said on your show the other day. You know, how much fun is it that Tennessee decided to start playing, big-time college baseball? You look back 10 years ago, there were maybe, I think, 5 programs across the SEC that I would say were in that number. Arkansas, LSU, Florida, South Carolina, Vandy. You look up and down this league, I'd say there's probably only one that, hasn't made the investments, that hasn't put together the facilities and doesn't compete at baseball at a high level. So I think it should be a ton of fun, especially at the top. There's a lot of really good ball clubs, and I'm excited to see what happens next week.
Okay, my Billy here, Billy Derrick. Billy and Billy, see if you all buy this. Okay, right now in the Eastern Division, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia are codlock cinches, correct?
Yes.
Billy,
I agree with that.
Okay.
I think lately has really climbed the ladder, but more or less, yeah.
So that leaves South Carolina and Vandy maybe with work to do. Y'all give me some thoughts.
South Carolina, and I think, Billy, you'd agree, they are in a better spot than Vanderbilt right now because they are at 13 wins. But if they get if they get swept this weekend against Tennessee, they'd be at 13 and 17, and they probably would still be in. But I know South Carolina, if you're Coach Kingston, you like to get at least one more. And for Vanderbilt, get at least one more, you got a shot. If you get swept this weekend, I don't think you have any shot. If you win the series, you're probably solidly in. South Carolina, Billy, and I think you'd agree, is in a little bit better spot than Vanderbilt right now.
No, absolutely. And they picked up some big wins this weekend. Obviously a big test for them in Knoxville, but I think they're sitting pretty for now.
So let me make sure I've got Billy Derrick where you put this out a minute ago. You think if Vandy gets swept in Kentucky, there's very little shot they're getting in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, because they'd have to, at least get to the championship of the SEC tournament. And you just heard Billy talk about kind of how hard that is. And I know Vanderbilt won it last year. That they were a different type of team last year than they are this year. I just think it's a lot harder. Now, if they get one, they're fine. But yeah, I don't see them getting in if they get swept this weekend. Just my opinion.
Okay, Billy, too.
Especially with that road record, it's just been dire here. I still think they might be fine at 12, but I really think it's about a coin flip at that point. And I know Tim Corbin is really laying into his guys this week because that's been the mark on Vandy all year. We've seen him at home compete against some really good ball clubs. You saw Tennessee last week. They took one, could have really taken all three, but it just on the road, it's been a completely different story. And, yesterday seemed to be more of the same. At least the early returns in Lexington are not great, but we'll see. It should be exciting.
Yeah, and Vanderbilt, you are right. I think they would still have a slight chance getting in at 12 wins. And maybe this is that year with, how many teams, Billy, are in the top 20 of the RPI? I think it's, at six, 7 teams, somewhere around there. So, just a ridiculous amount of good teams up there, even in the top 30 of the RPI. So this could be the year where maybe Vanderbilt's sitting at 12 and they do get in. But, we'll see.
Yeah. And since 2000, basically, that magic number has been, at least 13 to get anywhere. I think they showed it last weekend. If you have 12 wins or less, your chances are real slim.
Okay, see if you guys buy this. In the West, Arkansas's in, A&M's in, Mississippi State's in, Bama is sitting on that bubble. Do you all buy that line of thinking?
I think Bama's good personally, based on what they've done. I think that Arkansas win is a huge reason why. I think if you're Alabama, assuming you can get at least one this weekend, I think you go to Hoover feeling good. Billy?
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Billy. This is going to be fun.
Do you want to be William?
I'm switched to William when we got Billy on. But no, I'm with you. Alabama is in a really interesting spot. They would probably like one. They lost last night to Auburn, actually, who's, you could say is the worst team in the league, but even that's not necessarily a bad thing in today's SEC. So they'd probably like to get at least one, but I do agree with you, Billy. They could be that 12-win team to get in because their RPI is ridiculously good. Mississippi State was a team that 3 weeks ago, they needed that win at Vanderbilt, and they got it, and that sort of kickstarted them in their run. So, it can switch so fast. For some of these teams this weekend, if A&M wins the series against Arkansas, where does that put them? Both those teams are probably, like you said, George, codlock cinches, and probably even locks to be national seeds, even with A&M's win last night. So, yeah, the West is probably even crazier than the East.
Okay, both of y'all talk to me about what's going on at Georgia, because I don't know if they've rented the Braves bats or what it is they've done. But Georgia baseball, which won a national title, I want to say like 2004, has been very quiet for a long time. And suddenly there's been an explosion.
You know, last year, we saw what Charlie Condon could do. He had a phenomenal freshman year. The issue was just, it was the depth in the batting order they didn't have. And then the pitching was just abysmal. I mean, you talk about the way that lineup has come along. Obviously, Condon has had, an all-timer season. But, Corey Collins has been excellent near the top of the league, too. Paul Totes has been awesome. And then you mix in some pitching that, I think's really come along as the season's progressed. A guy in Charlie Goldstein who, was a fringe starter last year, has turned into one of the best pitchers in the SEC. And, Leighton Finley's been awesome for them too, as their day 2 guy. And Colton Smith, who'd been their best guy of the bullpen, went in yesterday, started the game against Florida, pitched 7 innings, gave up, I think, just a run. So I think the pitching's been the biggest thing that came along, because they were a little shaky to start the year. But boy, now I think anyone's shaking in their boots if they get Georgia drawn in their regional.
Yeah, you're right. Now that they have their pitching in their back pocket to where, you've got a guy that can go 5, 6, maybe 7 innings in late relief and kind of close a game out for you. That's what they kind of did to Florida last night. They just kind of suffocated their bats. And that series is in Athens this weekend. But Georgia, they'll be at home in a regional, and they'll probably be at home in a super. That's iffy. They may be at home in a super. But if they are, look out. If they can host twice, regional and a super, I don't know. I don't see anybody beating them in their park. But Wes Johnson in year 1 has done a phenomenal job. And I know they had the controversy with Christian Maracna, and that obviously had a lot of talk around the league. But they didn't let that affect them. The funny part of it is he hasn't pitched as well after that. So that is kind of ironic. But I do think Wes has done a great job, and their pitching staff, you're right, Billy, has catapulted them to be even scarier than they were.
Y'all speculate for me. Here's Florida with great weather all year long. Okay, they could practice in December, they could practice in January, without freezing to death. They've got the second big slugger in the league in Gaglione, and I hope I'm saying that right. Yeah, whatever. I was close. Why are they struggling to the point that they are?
Well, they've had to rely on 2 young pitchers this year, and it just hasn't gone the way that I think Florida expected it to. I think the thought process around Gainesville was, they just be able to plug and place with 2 pretty talented young players, and you'd have Caglione fill in Sunday duties, and he'd be able to do what he did last year. And pitch as well as he did, but just hasn't been the case so far. They've been near the bottom of the league. I think they are right now last in the league in pitching. And, you've seen these series when they win, it just has to be a shootout. When they win, they have to score, 12, 13 runs. We saw that against Kentucky last week. Liam Peterson will give them some good innings, but, Neely's been shaky. I just think that's been the biggest issue all year for Florida. And, the bullpen hadn't helped them out either.
Yeah, Florida's the perfect definition of kind of a modern-day college baseball team. They can hit the crap out of the baseball, and they can get hot, but they don't pitch a whole lot. And they have been injured, some. But I still think Florida, if they can squeeze into the tournament, they could be dangerous. You've seen guys like Fisher Jameson pitch well, Liam Peterson, like you mentioned, Billy, and Brandon Neely has looked really good at times. Now, they don't have a ton of depth. But I like Florida. They've had moments. They just haven't been consistent. I thought the series loss here in Nashville, they could have won that against Vanderbilt. There's been some series that just haven't gone their way, and Caglione is having to do pretty much everything for them. So I still like Florida. Like I said, if they do get in, to potentially do some damage, but can they get in? That's the problem.
Yeah, and I even think back to the series I got to see him in Columbia. It lost 3 games on 3 straight walk-offs. You know, I just think it's the way they've closed games. It's just felt like things broke for him last year, and just hasn't been that way this year.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go through and look at, for instance, Baseball America in their rankings, the SEC's got a ton of teams in the top 25. I mean, it's an absolute embarrassment of riches how good this conference is in baseball. Y'all talk to me about how many schools legitimately in your mind could win a national title.
That is in the conference or
Yep.
across baseball?
Yep. In the SEC.
I mean, in the SEC, I think the number for me would probably be at about 10. I mean, we've seen it before with Ole Miss, who finished near the bottom of the league, was the last team in and found a way to make a run. I mean, Auburn and Mizzou obviously won't be eligible for NCAA tournament selection. Ole Miss may make it in, but I don't think they have what it takes at all. But, you know, you look at the bottom of the league, I mean, LSU and Florida are sitting right there. And, you know, LSU, if Gage Jump can keep doing what he's doing, Luke Holman started to come along, a guy who was injured last year. And, you know, the bats have started to pick up a little bit. And you know, when you have that championship DNA, you just believe. You look up and down the list. I don't know if Vanderbilt hits well enough, but I mean, I'd say the number's probably 8 or 9.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, you got at least 5 in the SEC because you look at the RPI, the top 5 teams in the RPI are all SEC teams: A&M, Kentucky, Georgia, Arkansas, and Tennessee. And then you got to go a little bit further down for Alabama, who's at 14, which, like we said, that's a big reason Alabama probably gets in the tournament. And I do think they could be a dangerous team, maybe end up winning it. I like Mississippi State a lot. They're 20th in the RPI. I think they could potentially win it. So at that point, that's 7. So, yeah, Billy, I'm with you. Probably go 8 or 9. South Carolina, Ole Miss, maybe not. But then again, you saw what they did a few years ago and get hot. They were the last team in. So if one of these SEC teams are the last team in, I don't know that you're an East Coast team or a West Coast team as the 1 seed that has to run up against that SEC team, just how good that conference has been this year. So, yeah, I'd probably go 8 or 9 as well.
Okay, last thing for the Billies. If I said 4 SEC schools will make the College World Series, which is an 8-team field in Omaha, Nebraska, is that true or false?
I got to go true.
About right on the number.
Yeah.
Maybe 5, but I think it's probably 4.
Yeah, it's usually always hard to get that 5th, I feel like, Billy, because the way the bracket is set up to try to evenly place the SEC teams throughout. So usually you get some SEC teams out west. You get some, maybe, up in that Pacific coast, and then you get some up north maybe. But even north, there aren't many 1 seeds that are going to be up north, maybe a Midwestern team. But usually it's SEC and ACC teams that are the 1 seeds and the regional hosts. So, yeah, I think just the way they divide it, 4 is a good number. But, man, it's going to be interesting to see which 4 that will be because I think it's anybody's guess.
Yeah, and a lot of times they set the bracket to make sure that those 2 teams are on a collision course in the Super Regional. Last year we saw South Carolina and Florida and LSU and Kentucky could end up with something like that to try and trim the SEC field a little bit.
We've seen some potential. I know these D1 baseball and Baseball America projections like to do that, like you said, Billy. We've seen some with Vanderbilt paired with Tennessee and Knoxville. So,
oh my God, can you imagine?
A place would burn down.
So most of them have Vandy in.
Yeah, right now, as of right now. But I think a lot of them are saying Vandy's going to get at least 1 here in these next couple of games against Kentucky, and probably a couple in Hoover. And I do too. I mean, I don't. But they get swept. You're going to be on the hot seat.
Oh,
so,
yeah. So, to Billy Derrick, Billy, you're not going anywhere. You're staying here.
That's right.
You're a prisoner of war. Billy Jones in Columbia, Missouri, thank you for taking the time to join us. Look forward to your coverage next week, which I know is going to be terrific.
I'm excited for it. Thank you guys for having me on.
Thanks,
Billy. Talk to you here soon. I'll talk to you over the weekend.
Sounds great.
Okay. So we're excited. Come Tuesday, we'll have great coverage of the SEC baseball tournament. My guess is by tomorrow night, you will know the pairings and the start times.
Probably so, yeah. That's what I would say.
Yeah, go to secsports.com.
Yep.
And they'll have all of that.
Still a lot of different possibilities, so get ready.
Later on in the show, my buddy Greg Pogue is going to join us. His Nashville Cats are in Clarksville tomorrow at the F&M Bank Arena, which I'm told is beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll get a chance to see it tomorrow, but we'll be back. We've got plenty more to talk about, so stay tuned.
Hit After Hit has become the baseball store in Tennessee. They have over 1,000 different models of gloves and over 1,500 wood bats. They also have several Iron Mike pitching machines as well as a Hit Tracks machine. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. We're proud to call Hit After Hit the official shirt provider of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
So this segment will be a little bit of me sticking up for me.
Let's hear it.
Did anybody by any chance see the look on Billy and a former NFL quarterback's face yesterday when I picked the Minnesota Timberwolves?
Yeah, we were. I think we were a little. I don't know about that.
Yes, I know that.
But
here's the beauty of sports. About the time you think you know, and you're positive you know, you may not know.
No.
Listen to this one. The 45-point win was the largest victory against a defending champion in NBA playoff history. At one point, the lead was 50.
I mean, just a blowout of epic proportions. I did not get a chance to watch any of it, but I did hear about it, early this morning. And, it's not like like Anthony Edwards had 27, McDaniels, who has been huge, had 21, but they kind of spread it out.
Oh, yeah.
They played defense. That's what they do. I mean, to hold the Nuggets to 70 points. When's the last time they were held to 70 points? I'd like to know that.
Probably in the ABA days.
I mean, Jokic, 22 points. He was 9 of 19 from the field.
Yeah, he really wasn't much of a factor last night. Look, it's easy on one hand to say, well, it's a bad night and we move on. And that may well be what ends up happening when they play again at some point Sunday. And the start time will not be determined until we know if there's a Game 7 Pacers-Knicks, which I believe there will be.
That could be a great day of basketball there.
Oh, it could be. But here's the thing. When you get on that plane and you've gotten beat by 45, is there all of a sudden a creeping in of doubt that you didn't have before you got to Game 6? I mean, even though you're the defending champion and you've been through a lot, is there a seed of doubt that crops up that says, I'm not sure?
Well, I thought the same thing after the first two games.
Right.
And I said, man, I don't know if Denver comes back from this. But they find a way. They win the next two, and it felt like they took control of the series. Because they went up 3-2 at that point.
Right.
But this does feel a little bit different, just the domination. Now, I still think Denver's going to, they'll be at home, right? I mean, they should be comfortable. They should have the advantage. But Minnesota has the momentum. Uncle Mo is real. And if they carry that over, Denver may not have any choice. I mean, in the matter, just because the T-Wolves could stay hot.
Did you see the story where Anthony Edwards apparently told one of the workers at Ball Arena, oh, we'll see you Sunday. We're coming back.
He's confident. That's a young, confident team, and they are fun to watch. Now, they don't have the veteran presence that the Nuggets have. So when push comes to shove, and I don't know, maybe it's another 30-point win, but I wouldn't expect that, especially with the Nuggets at home. So it is hard, though. You're down 3-2 to have to win 2 in a row. But like Kelly said, I think yesterday or a couple of days ago, when you do win that Game 6, you feel like you've got the advantage. I mean, especially in that fashion, 40 points. That's a fun team to watch, and they're scary. I'd be a little scared if I was a Nuggets fan right now.
It's a really interesting scenario of, okay, what really is what here? And while we're on that subject, let's take it one step further. I'll admit, I thought the Knicks would win Game 5 by about that much. And instead, where it came from, I have no idea. They mustered up a 30-point blowout of the Pacers, 121-91 to be exact. And there's a part of me that's like, look, if the Knicks win this series, Boston is going to pummel them. But it's another one of these things where you sit there and say, about the time you are absolutely certain, then last night happens.
Yeah.
And how do you explain it?
I heard somebody this morning talking about the blowout, and they didn't specify the team. And I said, oh, Denver blew them out, right? He's got to be talking about Denver. And obviously I checked the score, and he's talking about Minnesota. And yeah, you're right. I mean, you don't know, because it's still sports. Anything can happen, and you're deeper into the playoffs now. I mean, you're not quite to the semis, but every team is good now. You're not first round, usually predictable. I mean, to a degree, but especially Knicks Pacers. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Pacers, do end up forcing Game 7, which I do think would be awesome.
And you know what? You got to, if there's a game 7, and I'm guessing here, I guess it would be an ESPN telecast. I would ask permission from TNT to allow Reggie Miller to be part of that telecast.
Oh my gosh!
Can you imagine?
You have to.
Yeah.
There's no other option there.
Have him and Spike do some segment where they go back through the past history of that great rivalry.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
You know, where Reggie at one point gave Spike Lee the choke sign.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, you know, the NBA is better be hoping it's a good game tonight, because you don't want back-to-back clunkers like that. Because I'll say, an NBA game, the team's up 20, most people turning it off, you know, flipping over to the NHL or the Braves. Or, you know, maybe not you for the Braves, but.
No, not these days. Thanks to my good friends at Comcast.
Yes.
Stay tuned. We'll have Stat of the Day, and then the Pogester will join us. We'll talk Cats in Clarksville tomorrow at F&M Bank Arena.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
Top of the hour on a Friday. Got obviously a big weekend, NHL, NBA playoffs rolling on, PGA Championship. A lot going on, but first stat of the day. And then it's got Nashville Cats in Clarksville. We'll get Pogue on here soon. But stat of the day first, brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday, noon to 5, and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, we're going baseball today. So Danny Evans, I guess, just missed his baseball question yesterday. But Ellie De La Cruz recently became the 5th player ever to record at least 20 home runs and 45 stolen bases through his first 162 games. Before De La Cruz, who was the most recent player to accomplish this feat? So 20 home runs and 45 stolen bases through his first 162 games. And he didn't play a full season last year, of course.
Yeah. Ronald Acuna could be, as I try to think back, in his first 162, I don't doubt that he had the 20 homers. I'm not sure about the 45 stolen bases. Gosh, as I try to think, Cody Bellinger is a possibility because he certainly hit for power and he certainly has had some speed, although I don't think 45 stolen bases.
I'll give you a hint. It is an NL East player.
It is an NL East player. Don't think it's Bryce Harper going back to the Washington Nationals. He didn't have that kind of speed. It could be.
And this guy's been on 2 different NL East teams. You'll be kicking yourself.
There's dead silence at this point.
I know you're going to be kicking yourself.
Ozzie Albies.
Nope. Trey Turner.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I forgot.
Yeah, good question.
I mean, I obviously knew he was on the Phillies, but he did this with the Nationals that year.
Yeah.
His
Listen,
first.
He's a terrific player.
Yeah.
There was a point where he got linked to the Braves about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And, little did we know at the time that Dansby Swanson would end up being a Chicago Cub.
Mm-hmm.
Little did I know that the young kid with the Predators, Evangelista, who I met a couple of weeks ago, would say, "You know what? You're not the first person that said I have Dansby Swanson hair."
He sure does.
Yeah. Luke admitted to me he's a baseball fan, and that's a good thing. He's a Toronto Blue Jay fan. So looky here with his shades on is high-ranking Nashville Cats official Greg Pogue. Hello, Pogue.
Oh, I didn't realize. I had my shades on. I can get my readers that I bought at Dollar Tree here earlier if you want me to put them on. So
no, that's quite all right.
No,
if this makes you look cool, then so be it.
I don't need to feel cool because there's a lot of people who try to be cool, but if you're cool, you don't have to try to be.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
how you doing, man?
Do you have any interim titles at this point?
Yeah, I don't know. Those who follow me on Facebook, I asked Jeff, when he was named, obviously, a couple of days ago, the interim commissioner of the league, can I be the interim associate commissioner of something? And he said, yes. Yeah, no. He said, you are already the interim associate commissioner of transportation. You're my damn driver. So
it's quite an honor.
Yeah. Where do you want to go?
Pogue, you all will be in Clarksville tomorrow.
Yes.
To take on Wichita. Tell me about the whole F&M Bank. Tomorrow will be the first time I've seen this arena. First of all, tell me about it.
Well, and Tuesday we had a really good, response to our press conference up there, and Jeff, and of course all the news that was breaking, and with him being the interim commissioner of the league. And first off, this is Sean Henry, Michelle Kennedy. These are our big brothers. We had the activation earlier this year out with, and had a Cats night, and them just putting their big arm around us because F&M Bank Arena that's what the Cats did for Clarksville, and that's what they're doing. The Ford Ice Center up there is amazing. So just because of that, and yes, this is, Clarksville and with the Predators have built a world-class facility in that 5 to 6,000 range with the bells and the whistles and everything. It's truly amazing. I look at down here on my side of the landscape, Murfreesboro. Come on, man, you missed the chance to have this, and they might, but it is truly an amazing facility, and one that sort of, when I saw it for the first time Tuesday, I go, I had no idea of it is it, and so to be a part of that, it's Armed Forces Day. We've looked at this on the calendar, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say it or not, but kudos to the Cal Turner Foundation, Dollar General store. There's going to be 1,500 Fort Campbell related, military related people in there as their guest. They bought their tickets. And so, yeah, it just, and I think the coolest thing about this, and we've talked about this, George, everybody wants the Cats to succeed. Have you ever gone to any business where everybody is ready to help? And that's what we've seen with the Predators, Clarksville, everybody, because I think everybody wants the Cats to be a part of our spring football landscape. And there has been upheaval, but if you look at it and people who want to digest it, there are 10 teams. Not a single one of them relied on the Arena Football League in its newest form with Lee Hutton. And I wouldn't want to have his legal bills coming up. But the teams that didn't make it were the teams that were promised things by the league that they did not deliver. We were promised those things, these other 10 teams, the same thing. But we knew that, hey, if those things happen, they're fine. They don't happen, they're fine. We have to maintain. So now the league, and Jeff will tell you this, we have cities reaching out to us. Indoor Football League in this country is strong. Arena Football League, from its previous brief of whatever that was, sham, put a tarnish on indoor football. Indoor Football League, the Indoor Football League as a commissioner has been there 17 years. They're in Vegas, Phoenix, all over the place. This isn't about indoor football. It's about somebody who was whatever you want to think about him, led a lot of people astray, and now Jeff is cleaning up the mess.
And I have no doubt that he'll bring an honesty and an integrity to this that the league needs. Greg, for someone who's coming up from Nashville, I don't know because I haven't been. How close is it to Austin Peay?
And it is a downtown, of course, Austin Peay. And I was talking with Gerald Harrison, the AD up there. Their locker room is there. Their basketball team, that's their facilities, men, women, just right off campus. But it needed to be away from campus because this needed to be a Clarksville facility and not an Austin Peay facility. And all due respect. And so Austin Peay is getting the benefactor. And I was in the Dunn Center a couple of days ago and saw Dave Lewis Court. Man, that place, there's a lot of mid-majors like to have that facility, but it's off campus because it needs to be a Clarksville facility and not an Austin Peay facility.
So I saw commercials over the last few days. Daughtry was in there. I guess it was Wednesday night for a concert, and I'm a Daughtry fan. That's the kind of thing that'll do well up there.
Yeah, it's I was it seats a little over 5,000, and they got the suites and everything. Maybe they could have bumped it up, maybe not. And listen, this is something. And on my radio show on Where You're Headed Monday, I broke the story a year and a half ago that eventually the East Coast Hockey League franchise of the Nashville Predators will be in that city. When the Fort Myers Blades contract ended, they did not extend it. in the East Coast Hockey League. The Fort Myers, eventually hooked up with the Florida Panthers, which is fine, and which is a really good thing for them. But they did not extend it. They put the Gwinnett is now the East Coast Hockey League in for that. So it's going to be a perfect fit because that's where the Predators, and whenever they want to announce it, I already know they will. That the East Coast Hockey League team will be in that facility playing, and so yeah, a lot of these pro sports teams have theirs, franchises side by side, and so anyway, there's your little scoop. Number two is that Clarksville is like, it's the fifth largest city in our state. Okay. So it's an entity to itself. So it's and certainly what Sean and Michelle with the Predators, they sense that whole market of 400,000 plus, including whatever's on the Army base, needs immediate entertainment, and that's why they're putting concerts in there. That's why they're doing what a lot of cities are, like a Gwinnett to Atlanta.
So tomorrow, you mentioned the 1,500 that will be there by way of Fort Campbell. You're going to have a really good crowd, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I'm five. That worries me too. Can we handle it? Because we had over 6,000 the first game, and the worst criticism was that our lines were too long. Well, that's a nice problem to have, right? I'm sorry, but we'll get that. We've gotten that fixed. But yeah, I think we're going to be close to a sellout. I really do. And we're a notorious walk-up market anyway, right? So I think we'll see. It seats 5. I think we'll have 4. Just my guess.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Yeah, first year, yes.
Well, I look forward. I'm going to be up there. I'm looking forward to it. Anything else you want to?
Well, hey, I did cut out, because I've dealt with some health things, and I cut out early the game the other day with you and Eli. How much fun I've worked with Eli on, obviously back in the day with some Predator stuff, and now with this, and I did get to do the commentary with him when we played at Albany a couple weeks ago.
Of you.
I know. How cool was that for you? And now Pete Weber's going to be back doing it this coming Sunday, but for you to be able to do a game, and I heard a lot of it, and to do for the first time in your Hall of Fame career, to do it with Eli.
Oh, it was a blast. Eli and I go back. We were talking about it before the broadcast. We first met, I think, as minor league baseball announcers. And Greg, I can remember a day in, I want to say 1994. The SEC tournament was in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working for bankrupt WTN. And WTN had been bought by Gaylord. And they had not really revealed it to us at that point whether they were keeping us. And so earlier that day, it was on a Friday, I got offered a job by the Atlanta Falcons and was going to be like a sideline announcer on their broadcasts and all this kind of stuff. And yet there was a part of me that didn't want to leave Nashville. And Eli and I spent, we must have spent 3 hours together strategizing what am I going to do and how am I going to make this work. And he's just a guy who has seen everything there is to see in radio. He's been a part of, not only radio but TV. The guy's done it all.
And we remember the 36 years of Alabama, obviously here, but NASCAR was, when it exploded, he was on the front of his Tuesday, they would fly guests into Daytona Beach every Tuesday night. Now you do it by Zoom or phone or whatever. They would fly the winner of the race. you were going straight to Daytona to do Tuesday night with Eli. You know, it's things are good. Things are good, George. So what's coming? What's coming up in your futures? Anything you need to announce again here?
Yet again?
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about Monday. The whole purpose of this, first of all, I had no idea what a phone system costs. I just didn't. I've never been on that side to know or care. And I found out it's well into 5 figures. And this gives me what it is I've wanted since I've gone to this format, which is the ability to talk to people. I mean, you've been doing it the same way. I've missed that for the last couple of years. So I'm really excited about it.
Well, and then since you buried the lead that you're going to be back on 4 to 6 WNSR this coming Monday, and I know and I've talked to Ted and Adam and everybody over there, and that they had some issues. Their 560 tower had gotten hit on something, and they're back full power with that, and those people are family. We were a part of that and everything, but everybody asks me if I'm going to come back. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just right now the Arena Football League has, and I know you can get Jeff, but this is I know the tag says interim and everything, but you know dang well what's going on. Everybody does. This is where eventually, and I'll predict it, I'm not going to say it, but I mean, if you can't read the tea leaves, you're blind. That Jeff's going to be eventually the commissioner full time. We're going to have to run the league out of here, and
you'll be the transportation director.
Yeah, that because I'm his damn driver. Okay.
Congratulations.
That's fine. Whatever. All right, but hey,
you've worked your fanny off. I'm proud of what you've been able to accomplish, and tomorrow I think you're going to see the fruits of some of the hard work you've been putting
we got
together.
a good team, with Tamara and Nancy. You've met, as Jeff calls them, the girls are, and then obviously Chuck McDowell's the hammer, and Jeff walks in every door, right? And I'm just there to but we've to but this just for a second, everything I'm doing totally fits my skill set and experience and everything I've done. And so that's why I think I'm a good fit. So anyway, Plaz,
I'll see you
come
tomorrow.
see me in Clarksville. I got you a VIP pass.
No, listen, it doesn't get any better than that.
No, listen, you were down there. We had Wagyu beef on skewers.
It was quite good.
Wow.
Yeah, I noticed that. You had it dripping down your chin.
Yeah,
All right,
whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, interim.
See you, man.
See you tomorrow.
All right, see you, bud.
Greg Pogue. Tell you one thing. Guy's not afraid of hard work. He has worked his fanny off to try to make this thing go well. And I think tomorrow, a lot of the hard work he's done, the Cats will reap the benefits of. If you're in Nashville or wherever you may be watching this and want to go see what ought to be a pretty darn good football game, am I right? 3:30 for kickoff? Is that what it says?
Yep, 3:30 Central Time.
Okay, beautiful. Are we ready to get to the business at hand?
Let's do it. Bet of the day brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. All right, let's see what happened last night. Obviously, a lot of bets this weekend.
Yep.
And this is what we've got.
Mm-hmm.
So you had 3 last night, correct?
Yes, 2 and 1.
2 and 1.
Yeah.
Minnesota, I don't think we thought that was going to happen.
No, one of us did.
That's true, one of us.
Not 2 of us.
No,
there was a lot of, shaking your head. He's lost his mind. He's lost his marbles.
We thought you lost. We thought you lost your fastball.
To which I say, okay, I got 3 plays tonight And let's run
All right.
through them, and I'll explain where I'm coming from.
Going to have to verbalize.
Okay. The first one is an NBA game. I'm taking Indiana tonight, minus the 6. Some places you'll see it 5.5. There'll be a couple you'll see it at 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that the Knicks right now are a team that can cause a lot of trouble at home. I don't feel that way on the road. I think a lot of their deficiencies, i.e., they got a lot of people hurt.
Yeah.
And they got manpower issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think the home crowd masks some of that.
Yeah.
Indianapolis, none of that gets masked. I think Indiana wins. I think they force a Game 7. And Madison Square Garden, Sunday at 2:30, if I'm right, will be a madhouse.
This series deserves a Game 7.
It does.
I'm with you. I think the Pacers force it.
Okay. The second one, not many people will agree with. The Bruins found a way to keep their series alive with an improbable win in Florida against the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Now they go back up to Beantown for Game 6. And Boston is a pretty sizable underdog. Well, screw that. I'm taking the Bruins.
I like that too. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, I know the Panthers have, you could argue, dominated a lot of this series, but Uncle Mo, the Bruins have Uncle Mo, so I like that right there.
And finally, a series that I thought all along was going to go 7, Dallas and Colorado.
Yep.
A few days ago, it didn't look so good. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Colorado stole a game in Dallas. And much like the other series we talked about, they return to Denver tonight for Game 6. Are they going to force a Game 7? You bet your sweet bippy they are. Colorado, small favorite, minus 115 against the Dallas Stars.
I'm with you. I think we said from the beginning this would probably go 7, so you may not be on the Hindenburg anymore, George, after tonight. This could be a good night.
Yeah, could be. Listen, all of you have a great weekend. We will try as many different ways as we can to post this so that people aren't caught off guard. Monday, our show will change start times. We'll go 4 to 6 p.m., and here's what will happen. We will continue as you see the show right now in a podcast form, but we will also simulcast on radio on 95.9 FM locally and in the Murfreesboro and Rutherford County area on 107.9. Very simply, there's one reason for this. We wanted a phone system, and we're getting it. And I'm excited about that. So excited that I'm going to leave the entire 5 o'clock hour Monday for phone calls. I haven't talked to any of you in 2 years. I'm dying to get that back in and going. And no better way to do it than to start out on Monday with a bunch of you. So enjoy your weekend. We're excited to have this simulcast opportunity on 95.9 FM. Kelly Holcomb will rejoin us Monday. Billy will be here. Our first guest in the new format will be my buddy Will Perdue, former Vanderbilt center and author of 4 NBA title rings with the Chicago Bulls and the San Antonio Spurs.
Bingo.
We'll see you Monday at 4:04 p.m.
Thank you.